Hello everyone, welcome to another story evening with Anamaria. Tonight I will read a part from Three Bridges, a short story written by myself about a dystopian world where people are divided by efficiency. You have the children, the adults, and the older people in different districts. The story is called Three Bridges. Grandpa Yuan might not be with us for much longer. These words pounded in Peter's mind as he struggled to open the barrier gates with his train ticket. A wrinkly conductor watched him from under a pair of square spectacles. Peter smiled as he caught a glimpse of the steam train just stopping at Blue District Station. Frantic crowds of well-dressed grown-ups gathered around its rusty frame. The green paint cracked as a round passenger opened the first carriage door. A dozen more people, some carrying children, followed. "Wait a minute, boy!" the conductor erupted as he saw the violet ticket in the boy's hand. Peter was now on the other side of the barrier. "How old are you?" 14. Peter gulped and slowly raised on his toes. "Are you really?" The conductor squinted and shuffled slowly towards him as if wearing slippers. Peter stood firm on his toes, trying to appear larger in his oversized wool coat. His chestnut hair curled as the silver engine puffed with anticipation. His dark brown eyes watched the passengers swirl through the train doors like water in a whirlpool. "Let's see your age card," the wrinkly conductor demanded and placed a heavy hand on the boy's right shoulder. Peter looked up at the conductor's hairy nostrils and tapped his pockets with the air of a businessman. His nose twisted as a scent of engine oil and musk reached him. "I don't have it," he finally said. I need to get on this train, sir. My grandfather is very ill. I know my way around by now." Peter's heart throbbed and his fingers tingled with anticipation. The engine whistled, flaring up dark clouds of ash and flame. "You're not allowed on this train by the underage decree of Queen Avrig the Baron." The conductor coughed as if finishing a speech. He then turned to a younger colleague who had just arrived for the morning shift. "Charlie," he ordered, his hand tight on Peter's shoulder, "take this boy back to his scare house." Peter's breath rose like the frantic ashes bursting out of the train chimney. The last warning signal bellowed. The boy sprang from under the conductor's grip. The train wheels screeched like the grinding teeth of a metal giant. "Pedal faster," Peter's mind echoed as he ran across the platform. He remembered his grandfather teaching him how to cycle. "Pedal so you don't lose your courage." Peter grasped the handle of the last carriage door and leapt inside. Charlie was left running after the train, confused whether to be frustrated or relieved. His older colleague was shuffling energetically after him, thrusting a tight fist above his head every now and then. The boy breathed out heavily, but cautiously, as he hoped no one had noticed his abrupt entrance. He watched the sandstone walls of the station pass by with the blue ceramic plates halfway along the walls and red dome-shaped roof. The seal of Queen Avrig shone brightly above the station entrance. On a black marble plate, Peter saw the three consecutive golden arcs with a blue, green, and violet disc under each one. He shuddered and turned after the last sign saying Blue District slipped away. The carriage seemed empty. It was padded with lacquered wood boards and smelt of pine. A small grey stove puffed slowly in time with the train. Its zigzag funnel had colourful crystals swaying from it, on thick wool threads. Peter walked towards the stove, admiring the silk-embroidered cushions on the seats. The chairs were made of solid oak, with curved handles and wave-like backrests. Golden plates with engraved names shone from their tops. Peter's heart jolted. In a faraway corner of the carriage, he saw an old lady dressed in pink and white furs. She was knitting what looked like a scarf. She gave Peter a quick glance as he quietly took a seat next to the fireplace. He suddenly remembered something and searched his pockets. The old lady croaked as the boy took out his violet train ticket. "That's Lord Fagarash's seat, my boy," she said calmly. "Come here in Lord Petal's seat. He won't be travelling with us any time soon." Peter obeyed, fighting his anxiety in silence. As he sat facing the old lady, he noticed a golden ring with the Queen's 3-arched seal on his right hand. This was a symbol of privilege, and not many people from Queen Avrig's kingdom could win her favour in this manner. The two were silent for an uncomfortably long time. "My name is Lady Daria Petal," she began after a while, "daughter of Lord Rosamund Petal II, in whose place you are seated. The seat on your left belonged to my grandfather, Lord Rosamund Petal I. I am Peter Arinish, ma'am. Pleased to meet you." Lady Petal put her knitting aside. Peter noticed that her silver hair, tied in a laborious plaited bun, looked like the yarn ball she had given up on. She took out a flowery fan from one of her sleeves. "You must be one of the care home children," she started, fanning herself, her lips pursed as if trying to trap a thought that was about to escape. "I was part of the royal committee that designed the Children's Blue District. I trust you have everything you need. Peter, was it?" Peter lowered his head and gave a short, sharp nod, but said nothing. Lady Petal smiled and opened her purse. She took out an old letter with a golden wax seal on it. She opened it easily as the seal had been torn and shook out a batch of green and violet tickets, similar to the one Peter had. "You must be rich," the boy gasped in amazement, leaning towards Lady Petal. "My parents were. Now I've inherited their perfume business, along with all its riches." "Did you get to spend a lot of time with your parents then?" Peter's eyes widened in a naive stare. "Too little time, my dear boy. You only realize what you had after you've lost it. I see you know the value of spending time with your family." She ended with a bittersweet smile. "My parents work very hard to send me a green ticket every now and then. I miss them most of the time. But when a green ticket comes, I can visit them, and that is all that matters." "You visit them? But you should let them come to you, surely. I believe 14 is the legal visiting age for the Green District. At least that is the impression the conductor gave me when he held you hostage on the platform just now." Peter paused for a few seconds, wondering why Lady Petal, a law-abiding grown-up, was so tranquil on the matter. "I am 10.5, and my parents can scarcely spare any time. They're very busy in the Green District and barely get enough money to live there. I know my way around well enough by now," he concluded as his back straightened in a confident stance. I need to get to the Violet District, though, by sunset, he whispered in a long breath. My father wrote that Grandpa Yuan is unwell. Lady Petal gave him a long stare and sighed. Do you think it's a bad idea? No, but I do recall that children can't visit the Violet District alone. She grinned. I suspect your parents knew that when they sent you the ticket. Peter blushed and looked at his toes. They didn't send me the ticket. My father's salary isn't due until the end of the month. That is usually when they send me tickets to our childcare house. Lady Footstool is good to us and gives us our tickets, even if we are smaller than the legal age for visits. The boy sniffed and gave Lady Petal a quick glance. You stole it, she rang. I borrowed it from Henry Hayworth. He owed me one. Peter resolved in higher spirits. I didn't tell on him when I can't tell you. So now he'll just have to tell his parents he lost his ticket. Now we're square. I see. Lady Petal stretched her legs under her enormous flowery dress. She then started fanning herself contemplatively. Are you disappointed? Peter asked, lowering his shoulders. You won't tell on Lady Footstool, will you? He suddenly realized with a start. I won't tell, she said, staring blankly above Peter's head. I just wish I had your courage a long time ago. What happened? I lost someone. The fan stopped abruptly, and she turned her gaze to the seat next to Peter. She then looked at the boy with an expression struggling between sadness and amusement. I lost my grandfather, actually. He was more like a father to me than a grandfather. I never really knew my father. Well, not the real Rosamond Petal II, anyway. He was always busy with his perfume business. Papa used to go away on trips to exotic places to find new fragrances for his perfumes. He, of course, never bothered to ask us if we wanted to join him. That did not bother me terribly, as he could be quite malleable after a few glasses of sherry. But I prefer to stay home and listen to Grandpapa tell me stories from the war, or how he met Grandmama. She giggled, but then her face darkened as her lip unfurled in disgust. But the greatest sin that my father ever did was to send Grandfather away to the Grey District when he got sick. The train whistled wildly as it approached an arched stone bridge. This was the crossing between the children's Blue District and the adults' Green District. The bridge had Queen Avrig's seal in gold on a dark marble plate, cemented in one of the stone walls. The track stretched over a valley between two rocky hills filled with birch trees. Their golden and red leaves burnt brightly all the way up the dark grey clouds. Soon their crowns began to diminish as stumps gradually took their place. Speckles of scrap metal and piles of ash splotched the once green grass. The train took a right turn a couple of minutes after crossing the bridge. Peter peered through the smoke-stained windows to see the ochre brick, glass and metal buildings of the Green District. It resembled Lady Petal's tangled ball of yarn, as a cluster of dark green pipes shooting out of the ground encircled the buildings of various heights. The taller buildings were manufacturing centers for furniture, appliances, and vehicles. They seemed to spiral all the way to the sky, with their tops pouring out white smoke and ash. A lit cinder fell like snow over the smaller bungalows all around the soaring buildings. This was the grown-ups' shared accommodation, with sometimes up to 8 people under the same roof. The train stopped suddenly in front of a large golden gate. The wheels screeched wildly, the crystals hanging from the stove shook back and forth. Beyond the gate, Peter could see a white marble manor house, shaped like a round bottle. Its roof looked like a cork with puffs of pink clouds seeping from its pores. A strong scent of roses and lemons came in through the carriage door as it opened from the outside. "This is me," Lady Petal said, and stuffed her knitting envelope and fan into her tiny purse with lightning speed. "Wait," Peter cried. "What is the Grey District?" "You can just sit in that chair until the Violet District. Feel free to take one of my patron crystals from the stove. I use them for various charity causes." She laughed sharply. "It will be your proof that you are under my protection today." "Thank you, Mom. But what is it, Mom? The Grey District?" He ran to the door to hear her answer. Lady Petal was helped down the steps by 2 stern-looking valets. Their expressions contrasted with their white cheeks powdered with pink hues. They were dressed in pointy-shouldered white coats with golden buttons and dark pink leggings. Their shoes were golden with small tassel sprays around the ankles. The shoes had a spraying mechanism that would squeeze the tassel with every step so that Lady Petal could walk on a carpet of perfume, as she liked to call it. Lady Petal's pink and white dress made wave-like patterns as she descended. She then turned towards Peter. "I hope you never find out." The door closed with a loud thud. The train whistled, its sound echoing nostalgically through the hills. A haunting reply came from the heart of the Green District. It felt like a wounded cry to Peter, like the cry he once gave after falling from his grandfather's apple tree. Grandma was there too, with her soothing embrace comforting him until the ambulance steam carriage, eventually, arrived to their house in the Violet District. Peter grabbed one of the crystals from the stove. It was lilac, with thin cracks all around. He put it in his trouser pocket and went to sit in Lord Petal I's seat instead of his son's. He grabbed one of the cushions, placed his head on it, heavy with questions, and dozed off for a while.